Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. Be sure to click the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified when the next video comes out. It only takes 2 seconds to make 2 clicks. So let's do it. Let's get back to the video. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Fearless Freedom with Dr. G podcast. Here I am coming to you with our update. Now, if you have been following the show, then you are aware of all of the things that led up to hashtag Big Adventure 2021 and the getting everything together, basically condensing or downsizing the 3 households, getting the packing done, moving and selling the homes and selling the cars, and then making the transition 7,000 miles around the world, right, to live here on Guam. And so if you haven't been following and you're wondering what on earth I'm talking about, well, then now is a fantastic time to go back and listen to the preceding episodes where I do solo episodes and I talk about the transition here to Guam from Michigan. And I talk about the rationale behind it. I talk about some of the things that we faced, et cetera, et cetera. So this is what I do. So every quarter I will come on and I'll give a progress report of how things are going since we made the drastic move to Guam. And so basically at this point, we are at the almost final. Actually, I think this is the final update for the year. So we moved here in February and it is now November. And so we are in that fourth quarter. We're in the fourth quarter, actually. Yes, not third quarter anymore. We're in the fourth quarter and we have now been living here for about 8 months. And so this has been quite an adventure. And so I've asked in the past, if you're interested in specific questions, to definitely let me know. And several of you have actually, I'm sorry, I'm so dark. I was trying to get you to see the view of the beach, but maybe I should put myself this way so that you can see my face better, because right now you see the beach, but you can't see my face. So for those of you who are watching the video, and other people who are listening are like, what's going on? So for those of you who are listening and cannot see the video, hopefully you'll get a chance to go back and watch it on YouTube or to see it. Actually YouTube is probably the biggest place because we sometimes I put on Pinterest too, but for you to be able to go back and watch it, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about and you'll get to see the view. And what I'll do is I will actually pick up the laptop and show you the actual view. So right now I'm sitting in a cabana at the restaurant at the Dusit. I told you did I tell you? I don't know if I told you, but here I am sitting by the beach at the Dusit Hotel in Tumon, Guam. And I am at the Tassi Grill, which is the restaurant here at the hotel. And I am recording this week's episode. And so this is the update for the quarter. And so we do these quarterly so that you can continue on this journey with us in hashtag Big Adventure 2021. And you can hear about and have input as to, like, how are we adapting to this? How are we adjusting? How is this working out? And of course, the sun keeps moving. So of course, now I'm getting darker. So there you go. I didn't bring light because I didn't think I would need to bring light. Oh no, it's all good. That's what happens when you do things spontaneously and you decide to do something a little bit off kilter and out of the box. So anyway, so the point of this episode is to, like I said, give you an update and bring you along on the adventure with us, right? And so I have some questions that did not get covered in last quarter's set. And so I'm going to go through a couple of those, and then I will be sharing a couple stories because stories are always the best, right? And then I have a little bit of an announcement to make. Hopefully this will be something that you will find that is something that you want to partake in. Okay, so I will do that as well. And I am always, always, always willing and able to answer questions. So if you listen to this and you're like, oh my God, I have a question for the next one, please drop by our Instagram, drop by the YouTube channel, and it's Fearless Freedom with Dr. G, and just drop your question, and so we can have it covered for the next time we do this again. All right. So I'm gonna take a little sip on my cocktail. So so I'm having this, and again, you'll see this when you watch the video, this amazing like mango cocktail. It is like flipping awesome. Okay. And so I'm having that. And I had my cool rag here. See, here's my cool rag. I have my cool rag to wipe away any perspiration. Okay. Oh my God. So awesome. And I keep going super dark on the camera here. Anyway, all right, so let's get into it. All right, so now I kind of gave you a quick backstory. So for those of you who are not following us and are brand new to the adventure, well, you now are considered up to speed. And so now I'm going to go through and see what kind of questions I have here. So let's see. We covered some of these the last episode. We talked about how the kids are liking it, but here's an update to what's going on with the children. So we had homeschooled literally for their entire lives. So they had been homeschooled, for 9 years now, almost. Yeah, they got homeschooled for about 9 years, and they were thriving in homeschool. And then of course we decided that we were gonna make this move. So then since it made it the move all the way over here, and we wanted to have them have full submersion in the culture, because that's the whole point of living abroad, right? Or living outside of the mainland. And so we had a discussion with them, like we have a discussion with them every single year, because we always have them play an active part in the decision to continue to homeschool. And so we chatted with them, and they decided that they wanted to try going to school. So we asked around what was a good school for them to go to, and we chose the school that they currently are going to. And we were all very excited about the whole decision, and a little bit nervous about the transition, of course, because you're going from an area of comfort to going to an area of not comfort or discomfort or out of the comfort zone. And so whenever you do that, of course, there's a little bit of fear, right? There's a little bit of fear, there's a little bit of angst. And, we all kind of had it because we just didn't know what to expect. Is school going to be like what is on the television? We couldn't really tell them what school would be like, because obviously we went to school a really, really, really long time ago. And it's probably none of the stuff that we experienced was likely going to be relatable. So they were going to be going on their own big adventure 2021 by attending school for the first time. So we went through the whole thing and did the due diligence to choose a school that they are going to. And we got them started in school, and we made a big deal about the first day of school and that first week. And it was really, really, really cool. It was cool to see them get dressed and get into a routine and go to school and, start to build a peer group. So there they were, getting acclimated to sitting in a classroom all day. And instead of getting their work done in 2 hours and then going and playing and doing whatever they wanted. So they were getting acclimated to that life, right? The school life. I'm taking another sip of my cocktail. They were getting acclimated to the school life. And then they basically started to really love it. They were like, Mom, we really love school. This is great. All the things they were telling me about what clubs they wanted to join. They were just really loving having the ones that are in. So 2 of them are in middle school. And so they get to go and rotate their teachers, right? So they go from class to class. And so they're really excited about the different classes and having different perspectives and, having a different instructor for each thing. Unlike mommy and daddy always being the instructor, how that goes already when you're homeschool. And so, they really were loving it. And so we were in the groove, we had our routine. We knew what to do to get to school. We knew what to do for pickup time, because the pickup times are different for the lower school and the middle school. And, all the things we had it going. We were super excited because we thought man, this is great. We have it down, right? And then sure enough, Delta variant happened, right? So Delta variant unfortunately made its way to Guam. And so, we had this huge spike, and a lot of the cases were involving school-age children and school-age children who were not vaccinated. So like our son, it was 12. And so he was able to qualify for vaccination. And our daughters are 11 and 9. So they did not. And so, there were a lot of students who unfortunately who were in the same boat as our daughters. And so, it was just running rampant through the younger ages. And so we said, the governor very astutely said, you know what, we cannot let this continue. We have to do something to curb this. And so she basically, instructed the educators to go to virtual school and just wait until the cases started going down. And so that was what happened. So we literally had just gotten into the groove of going to school every day, and then boom, Delta happened, and then we had to pull back, and we were home for 6 weeks. So it was really ironic because they went back to their workstations that they used for the last term, the last semester, and but the difference was that they were getting direct instruction from their teachers via virtual school. So they were so much champions though, because they totally just rolled with the punches, and they clearly did what they had to do and adapted, and it was like no problem. So by the time the period of virtual school was over and they were able to go back to in-person instruction, they were just so excited. They were so excited. And they have really been thriving ever since. So now they've gotten to the point where they can actually play sports. And so the two older ones are playing sports. My son is doing cross country, which is something he'd never even thought about doing. And he's doing that, and he is doing really, really well. And it's amazing just to see how they push themselves constantly, how they listen to what I tell them about facing their fears, and, constantly thinking about how can you stretch yourself, right? How can you continue to grow by stepping outside of your comfort zone? And so he is for sure stepping outside of his comfort zone right now, because he had never, when he was a lot younger, like when he was probably like 4 or 5, we used to put him in these little kiddie races all the time, just mainly because I was doing the races too. And so he would just get drafted to be part of that. And, he seemed like he was having fun with it, but he never really pursued that, right? So, all these years, nothing. And then all of a sudden we just said, okay, the only sport that's being offered this quarter is for boys is going to be cross country. And so therefore you have to do it. And so, he was a total champ. He didn't argue. He didn't say, oh no, I don't want to do this. He literally jumped in and did it. And it has been amazing for him. Like he's learning that, he's learning to push himself every single day. He's learning that, certain tweaks and being coachable, and, focusing on technique, and, focusing on mental toughness. These are all things that are going to help him to be better in the sport. And it's also going to help him to be better in life, right? So clearly he's learning these lessons, and it is just really, really exciting and amazing to see it all unfold. And, it's kind of funny to think that we had to move, my paper's flying away. We had to move all the way 7,000 miles away in order to have this happen. I'm sure there might have been some other thing that he did, like that would have done this, but it's just really neat to see that cross country was a thing that ended up pushing him and totally changing him, and crushing his personal growth, and really like crushing it in the sense of progressing it at a more compressed timeline. That's what I mean. And having him face a fear and do so boldly, and then as a result, emerging victoriously. And now I've got like flies everywhere. Sorry. Like if you see me fanning something, that's what I'm doing. I'm fanning the fly. That's getting on my water and getting on my cocktail. Speaking of the cocktail, let me get another sip. That is just so good. I wish I could share it with you. Oh my God, it's so amazing. And so it's like mango goodness. It's such a fruity and yummy thing. Fruity, let me see what you got. They have mango and strawberry in there. Oh, so good. All right, I digress. The cocktail kind of got me off track. But yes, so, that's him. And so he's doing that. And so that was one of the biggest things that I found to be very inspiring to me. And my husband and I were talking about it. And he too has been very inspired by the amazing growth that has happened as a result of him taking a chance and doing cross country, despite the fact that he didn't consider himself a runner and he wasn't thinking about it, but he was voluntold. He took it up like a champ and he is thriving. So that's been a big adjustment for them. And they have been doing so like champs. All right, commercial break. I'm letting you know it's a commercial break, but it's a commercial for something I'm doing. So here you go. All right. So, I have been a part of Facebook groups and I have like started Facebook groups in the past. And I've always been kind of like, not really super convinced that my ability to run a Facebook group and have it be greatly successful was there. And so I've been a part of very successful groups and have found the tribe feel, the community, the camaraderie to be absolutely priceless. And I know and understand the power of a Facebook group. And so, when my team basically said, you know what, Dr. G, you've got to start a Facebook group because you have got to have a place where you can share not only about podcasting, but you could share about wellness. You have so much expertise in burnout. You can share about your businesses that you do. You can share about entrepreneurship. You can share about leadership. There is just so much that can be shared. And then we decided to narrow it down to even more of a niche, right? And so basically we have narrowed it down to female professionals in healthcare space. Okay. And so with that, and I'm just going to make sure that I have this right because I'm supposed to be giving you guys the link and I don't want to mess it up because that's not unheard of. Okay, here we go. I want to make sure I had the link. All right, perfect. Okay. So, we're looking around and, I vibe with you, right? Because I'm female, I'm in healthcare and I want to share all these things. So we're planning for the group. We're planning to have it be just female healthcare professionals. And we're also planning for it to be a place where we can empower, we can share, we can encourage and support and uplift each other, right? Because, there is just so much negativity out there. And me, I'm just not a person who prefers to be around anything negative. Like I do my very best and I work really, really hard to make sure that I'm constantly feeding my mind with positive things and surrounding myself with positive people. And so this is going to be a space where that can happen. And because I really and truly have a desire, a passion even to make sure that, you as a female healthcare professional has all the tools in which you need in order to have maximum health and happiness. And also that you have some tools that can help you to be financially free or have some financial health. And also, just stretch your mind, face your fears, stretch your mind, step outside the comfort zone, because I am telling you that when you do this, it's like an incredible ripple effect of positivity that happens, right? You stretch yourself and the next thing you know, this opportunity arises and the next and everything leads to something even greater. And then you look back and you are absolutely mesmerized by how far you've come and who you have become. And so I want that for you. So if this sounds like something that is appealing and it sounds like, we are your vibe and your tribe, then I welcome you to join the group. And so let me make sure I have the link now, because here's the deal, because that's always the kicker, right? So the group is called Women Healthcare Professionals Thriving in Life, Health, and Financial Freedom. And the link, of course, I don't see it here. Why don't I see the link? Let me see if it'll show me the link. Oh dear. Kind of knew this would happen. That's what happens when you do your show live or when you record and you don't really edit the recording. You just keep it raw because this is real. This is raw. This is real. This is life. Okay. All right. I'm not seeing the link here, guys. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing the link here readily, but let me look for the link and I'll get that to you. Because I want to make sure that you have that. It'll be in the show notes, but for those of you who are not like readily looking at the show notes, I just want to make sure that that you had that as well. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Where's the link? I thought I just saw it. Okay, so it's called Women Healthcare Professionals. Okay, so the link is literally going to be www.facebook.com/groups/women healthcare professionals. All right, so if we're your vibe and we could potentially be your tribe, I look forward to seeing you getting on there and being a part of it. Another sip of the cocktail. So yummy. All right, so that is my commercial. So I fully expect that I'll see your lovely faces in the group so that we can vibe together and make some incredible things happen together. All right, so let me look for one more question, and then I think we're going to be wrapping it up because I'm looking at the battery life of my laptop and it's saying 12%. So I'm hoping it will get us through to the end of the podcast, which should be one more question. All right, let's see. Let me just make sure. I talked about food, fun, and activities already. And I have an amazing server here. She's so cool. She's just checking in on me. She was like, hey, everything cool? I'm like, yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. So Dr. Kamal asked a question and I didn't think I answered it last time. So I'm going to grab this one. And her question is, what were you most surprised by? Okay. What was I most surprised by? Oh my goodness. I know exactly what I was most surprised by. I was surprised by how close the beach is to our house. I was also surprised about how close the mountains were to our house. And I also was surprised by the fact that the mountains are actually pretty tall, pretty high. Up in my face again, starting to sweat. All right. So basically, that really surprised me because when you look at the map and never being to a place before and not really knowing relatively how things are located, I had no idea what to expect, right? I thought that, it had several villages. So I figured that the villages were very far apart. And, if we lived here, we probably didn't want to live there because it was too far from the hospital. But then it turns out that pretty much everything is relatively close, compared to the United States, of course, right? And so it would take me at most to commute someplace, like even the furthest place, probably like 30 minutes, right? To me, which is not a bad commute. Like I prefer a 15, 20-minute commute, but I would be okay with 30 minutes if it came down to it. So anyway, so I was really surprised by how close things actually were. So I was blown away when I realized that I literally can get to the beach like within 5 minutes. Like I can get to a beach within 5 minutes and I could get to the mountains within 10 minutes. And I thought that was pretty amazing. This is all by car, not by walking. Okay. Because we live kind of in the country. We don't live like in the city parts, right? And so that was very surprising. The other thing that was surprising, like I was mentioning before, is how things are and how many beaches there are and how many beaches there are that are not, that are off the beaten trail. Like most places have their little hideaway beaches, but then, discovering them is a thing, but like it's really cool to go to new ones and see them and, check them out and then have them as, and then figuring out which one's your favorite. I feel like that is a really cool surprise. And then we do it as a family adventure. So we typically will drive around or we'll get a hot tip from one of my staff and, they'll say, hey, you got to check out this beach over here. And then, or one of the local staff will basically tell us like, this is where you need to go. And so we'll go there and it will be absolutely amazing. So I have been really, really surprised about that. I mean, I just don't know how this is going to turn out. And I'm sure that, you're not going to be able to see it if you're listening, but for those of you who end up watching the video, I'm just going to try to show you what the beach looks like where I'm currently. And that is the beach. I want you to, it's doing something funny. All right. And then, it's a pretty long stretch of beach and the reef is really far out. So all of that like aqua looking water that you see, that's all very shallow and you can literally walk out there. And a lot of people walk out there. So that makes it really neat. So the reef that we have surrounding this entire bay basically breaks those waves so that you can have a nice calm bay. And a lot of people come out here and they'll do swimming and training for like their triathlons, or, the kids will come out and they'll just be able to enjoy this area without having to worry about rough waters. So that part, I was actually surprised about that as well, that there's several bays that are like that, where, you can go there and you can go a significant distance out and it still will be calm enough for you to be able to, swim and have the kids swim safely there without any issues. And so, yeah, so that was the other thing that really surprised me about here. So yeah, so that was it. I'm super excited about all the questions that have been coming in, and I tried my best to answer some of them in TikToks and in shorter videos. And so if you follow me on the platforms, you will definitely get a taste of all these things. And definitely, if you are a healthcare professional who is female and you're interested in being a part of our vibing tribe, definitely check out the Facebook group. And we look forward to seeing you in there, vibing with you in there, and thriving with you in there. And that's what I have for you today. I hope that you will be strong, be brave, continue to face your fears, and emerge victoriously and unleash your greatness. Until next time. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Fearless Freedom with Dr. G. Again, I'm Dr. G. And if you like this episode, be sure to subscribe so that you can get notified of when the next episode is going to be. And also, I'll catch you next time. Have a great one. Be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness.